All right, so now we're going to talk about how you can pass the monetization review process. So, of course, it's going to depend a lot on what method you're actually choosing. But no matter what method you're choosing, you want to limit all of these things right here. So you don't want any violence at all, okay? If it's a video game where there's a little bit of shooting, it's probably okay, but you don't want any like excess violence. So you just really use common sense here. What would, the whole point of this review is so that, ads aren't being put on things that are inappropriate, right? Things that companies would be okay with having their ads on, okay? So you don't want any violence. Video game violence is kind of more fantasy violence as long as it's not super gruesome. Limit the cuss words. So, obviously there are ads on videos that have some cussing, but try not to have any if you can. Don't do any kids content. So no like teaching ABCs or cartoon type things. There was a big drama going on with kids and people trying to solicit children online through YouTube and stuff like that. So they don't really like monetizing kids content or toys type things. So try to keep that in mind. Car accidents, things like that are considered violent, and they don't really like those sort of things either, or people getting injured, things like that, or fighting and things like that. So don't have any of that kind of stuff. Don't use popular music, like, don't use, like Chance the Rapper, or like, just Lil Wayne, all that kind of stuff. Just any popular music that's like, not Creative Commons, you don't want to use any of that either. Even people who are just making vlogs, I've seen them not pass because in the background, maybe they were talking in their car and there was like the radio on. So you just don't want any of that sort of stuff. So just kind of use common sense there on what sort of things, would maybe pass, maybe not pass, right? So as far as, your method goes, list and combination sort of channels or personal brand channels. You don't really have to worry about these sort of things, and you can literally probably just start posting, right? You can just start posting your videos like you're going to be doing, right? Because there isn't really anything, as long as you have a human element in these videos. So I always recommend having a voice in there or a face, okay? So it can be yours, or you can outsource it, which we'll talk a lot about outsourcing later. But, in general, in order to pass a review the best and to get monetized and to stay monetized, I always recommend having like a voice or a face, a human element that is put into the videos. And I'm not talking about like Will Smith's voice. I'm talking about, a voice of the person who runs the channel, right? And it doesn't have to be the whole time. So it can be like half the video. As long as there's like voice in half the video, you're usually going to be fine with that. Just a human element that shows YouTube like, hey, this is a real person who's working on this channel, right? That's all you really need to be able to pass review and to get monetized and to stay monetized. So list, combination, and personal brand channels are going to be fine as long as you put a voice or a face in it. If you can't put a voice or a face, and later we'll show you when we're in the lectures about creating videos, I'll show you exactly how you actually put your voice in these videos. Super simple to do. You can use a phone, you can use any cheap microphone, anything like that. So we'll talk about all that later, and then how to edit the videos and all these things later. But in general, these methods that I'm going to show you here in some of the other lectures are not going to be as important for you to do unless you really just want to skip this review process and get monetized within a couple weeks or a week or so. Then those methods will be for you. But if you just want to go ahead and start building your channel, and you're going to be using a method that's not considered sketchy, like list, combination, or personal brand channels, where you're putting your voice and face and a human element in it, and going the protected route, right, where you can build this as a business over time, that you're not gonna have to worry about demonetization or any of those sort of things, then you can literally just start posting your videos and start getting that organic traffic. You don't really need to buy views and subs unless you really want to get through this quickly. And then the benefit of that is you also are going to be learning, right? So you're going to be posting these things. You're going to be learning how to get views, how to get subs, all of those sort of things. So you're going to be learning along the way. It's obviously going to take you longer, right? Because you're going to have to organically get these 1,000 subscribers in 4,000 hours. If you're going organically, you know, it could take you a while, but if you know what you're doing, you can do it really quickly. Like I've actually gotten 1,000 subscribers and, you know, the 4,000 watch hours within a couple of weeks organically, but that's because I'm, you know, really good at building channels. I'm really good at finding the opportunities of things that are currently hot and currently trending that I know are going to get views really, really quickly. So if you jump on these topics, you can grow really, really quickly. So it doesn't have to take forever to do it organically. Keep in mind that every single YouTube channel started like this, okay? So every single YouTube channel that's up to, you know, 5 million views and just making tons of money, they all started with 0 subs and 0 views just like you, right? So there's no reason why you can't do the same exact thing that those channels did. And later in this course, you're going to learn exactly how you're going to do all of those things. But so now it's going to be tougher for you to pass a review if you copy and repost, if your method is to copy and repost Creative Commons content, or if you don't have human elements. So if you're making lists or combination or montages where you're not putting a voice in and you're not putting a face in, it's going to be more difficult for you to pass the review. So now we're going to talk about your specific case. So if you're doing copying and reposting and you're just like, you know, copying videos, reposting them, trying to get that quick money that may not be sustainable over time, but can make you some money pretty quickly, then there's additional methods you can use. If you're doing copy and reposting channels with no human element, you may need these additional methods I'm going to talk about later, about how you can, you know, get 4,000 hours and 1,000 subs extremely quickly. Okay, so we'll talk about that. And so if you're going to be doing these copying and reposting channels, I recommend that you edit as much as you possibly can. If you can't have a voice or a face in, I recommend doing that if you can. A lot of channels, you know, you pass review by just having, you know, copied and reposted Creative Commons content, but with voice over it or face over it, right? So if you can do that, I recommend doing that, okay? Really easy to just start talking on your phone, right? If you do the editing only with no face or voice, and if you can't do a face or voice, I recommend outsourcing to Fiverr or Upwork. You can get commentary for like $5, okay? If you don't want to do any of that, you're gonna have to edit the video a lot in order to pass review, okay? And then I'm going to talk to you about another way you can do it that's a lot better. If this is the sort of method that you want to do, I'm going to tell you here in a little bit how you can still do this method, okay, and not worry about the review. So if you're going to edit these videos, I recommend that you write in the description that you have the rights to what's in the video. So use Creative Commons content and, you know, edit it a lot, okay? We'll talk about the editing section later, but you need to make it your own. You need to transform it into your own, whether that's adding more information than what the video had. You can do that through text, like have text pop-ups, you know, put it into a list form where it's, you know, rank in the top 10 and then write some extra stuff in there. And we'll talk about all this stuff later about how you'll actually build these channels up and videos up. But basically just, you need to make this look like you're working on this channel and this is your channel. So edit the channel picture, edit the banner, make it look like your own channel, brand it, right? Take that picture or, you know, create a little logo, which will show you how to do all that stuff later. Put that as a watermark in your video, right, on the bottom. And I'll show you how you can do this later, where you can kind of make it a little more transparent so it doesn't like look weird or whatever. But you know, if you're branding the videos, right, with your own watermark, that's going to help it look like your own video, right? So those are the things that you're going to have to think about if you're doing the copy and reposting method, okay? And so edit the videos and try to keep the clips under 13 seconds. So basically, if you keep it under 13 seconds, it usually falls under fair use. Now, I'm not a lawyer and I don't know all of the rules that are involved. Fair use is pretty difficult to really understand. And anything you do, obviously on YouTube, you know, I'm just giving you my own, you know, suggestions and advice, but anything you do will be up to you as far as legal goes, you know, because I'm not a lawyer and I don't know the rules and all that stuff. But in general, if it's under 13 seconds, especially if the clips are non-Creative Commons, so you can use non-Creative Commons clips, right? But try to keep them under 13 seconds because then that falls under fair use a little more. And, you know, it doesn't seem to get hit by the bots and the filters, which we'll talk about later, as much if it's under 13 seconds. So If you're going to go the route of just trying to, copy and repost videos and, go through that way, but still do it free where you're not buying views or subs or anything like that, then you're going to want to do these things. You want to edit it as much as you possibly can. You're going to want to write in the description that you have the rights to what's in the video, maybe show where you're getting the videos from, and then tell them what you did in the description to make the video your own, okay? So then, the reviewer has more to look at of, okay, this is what this person's doing with this channel, and this is, what they're doing. So try to put your voice and face in it if you can. If you can't, outsource it to Fiverr or Upwork. If you don't want to do any of those things at all, if you don't want any voice or face, or you don't want to mess with, doing all this editing to try to pass a review, then in the next lectures, I'm going to tell you some ways where you can basically just make one video and then buy views and subs for it, and then you'll pass the review super easily. I've had hundreds of students do this method as well. So what you want to keep in mind here is, okay, so there's a couple different things that you can do. So if you want to do copy and reposting channels and you don't want to, do face and voice and all that and make it where it actually will pass review, what you can do, if you don't pass a review, don't delete your videos, okay? Because this is kind of where the magic will be for you people who are copying and reposting videos. So say you just copy and repost videos, you don't do very much editing, and you don't put a voice or face on it. Because keep in mind, if you're trying to go organically and you're just trying to copy and repost videos and trying to put like commentary over it that's not good commentary, you might not be able to get to 4,000 hours or 1,000 subs, because if you're just doing the commentary just so you can pass a review but it's not good, then organically you're probably not going to get 4,000 hours and 1,000 subs, because the videos probably won't be very good quality. You see what I'm saying? So what you can do is copy and repost videos, post them, and just keep on posting them until you get to 4,000 hours and 1,000 subs without any voice or face in them, right? But if you get to the review doing that, you're probably not going to pass the review. But what you can do is don't delete those videos, because you can reapply in 30 days. So what a lot of people do actually is they will copy and repost videos till they get to 4,000 hours and 1,000 subs, right? But they know they're not going to pass the review. So then you don't delete the videos, because if you delete the videos, you're going to lose all that watch time, and you don't want to lose that 4,000 hours of watch time, right? So then what they do is they'll add another like 10 videos, right, where they do add some voice to it. So that at that point, it doesn't have to be good, because you've already got your 4,000 hours and you've already got your 1,000 subscribers. So it doesn't need to be good anymore. So then what they'll do is they'll, already have all the copy and reposted videos that got them to 4,000 hours and 1,000 subs. Then they add an additional like 10 videos sort of on the same topic of what they were posting before, but they add commentary in. And now it doesn't need to be good, because you already got the subs and the views that you needed. Then you reapply in 30 days, and a lot of times the reviewers will look and be like, okay, so they grew this channel with these montages or whatever it is, right? But now they're actually putting their voice in or their face in, and now they're actually converting it into a channel that they're actually building with their human element. So now we're going to go ahead and pass them. So that's what a lot of students have done. And we'll talk about this more later, but if you get demonetized and you're copying and reposting videos, this is something you can do to get it back into monetization again, is, you don't even have to delete the videos. For you guys, there's a lot more to it, and this is the basic strategy, is that since copying and reposting alone is not going to pass review, and since you know that if you copy and repost videos, but you add commentary, but you suck at it, right, and it's not good, that you're not going to get 4,000 hours and 1,000 subs. So that's kind of that conundrum that you have. So what you do is you just post all those videos, copied and reposted, and then get to 4,000 and 1,000. You don't pass review. Then you add 5 to 10 crappy videos where it doesn't matter if you get views or subs on them or not, because you already got what you need. And then that shows YouTube that you're building your own channel. And then if you keep doing that, you will pass review at that point. So obviously there's a lot more involved when it comes to that. If you're doing list channels, combination personal brand, where you're putting a voice and face in, which is what I recommend, doing this is going to be a lot simpler for you. And now in the next lecture, I'm going to talk to you guys about some paid methods that you can do. So if you don't want to mess with this review process and you just want to get through as quickly as possible, there's some methods you can do. So if you're copying and reposting videos, but you don't want to copy and repost to get to 4,000 and 1,000, you can actually just make a vlog where you turn your camera on and talk, right? And you just do like one of those, and then you shoot views and subs to it, and then you will pass review. I've had hundreds of students do it this way, so that's what we're going to talk about in the next lecture. Even if you're going to do a list, combination, or personal brand channel, you can still use what I'm going to talk about in the next lecture to just get through the monetization process right now, so that you don't have to, sit there and grow it forever to, get to the point where you can actually start making money on your videos. So we're going to talk about that in the next lecture. So if you have any questions on this, keep in mind, we've had over 7,000 students come through this program, and every one of them have had to deal with this monetization process. And, thousands of them have passed review with these different methods that I've talked about. So if you have any questions, you can go to the Facebook group, type in the search bar and look for your question about this monetization review. You'll see tons of different experiences with the review process and all of those sort of things. And then if you still have questions, you can, type a post in there to ask any questions that you have about your specific case and what your plan is and what you're going to try to do here. And then another question I get often is like, can I just play video games and then, screen record it? And sometimes it passes, sometimes it doesn't. And so if you just play video games, I've seen people not pass if they don't have any commentary over it, or at least put a watermark in it so they kind of have an idea that it's your channel. But some people have not passed review just by screen recording video game gameplay because there's no human element in it, and YouTube really doesn't know where the video came from or if it actually was you who recorded the video, you know what I mean? So even if you're just playing a video game, I recommend trying to get some voice in there for a few minutes at least. And when you use your voice, try to announce your channel. And if your channel is like Superb Gaming, say, this is Superb Gaming back with another video, stuff like that, so they know that it's your video. So as much as you can do to make the video your own, to make it look like to YouTube that this is your channel that you're working on, then you'll be fine. And of course, if it's a list, combination, or personal brand channel where you're using voice and face, this stuff won't be a real concern to you. Only if you want to get through really, really quickly, then you can try what's in the next lesson. But in general, you shouldn't have a problem passing review just doing the normal content you plan on doing if you're just doing list, combination, or personal brand channels where you're using human elements. But if you're not going to copy and repost videos and you're not going to use a human element, then these are all things that you're going to want to keep in mind. So hopefully that makes sense to you. And of course, you can ask me any questions that you have about this method as well.